Pal Ralph Nader has run for president 3 times, so he wanted to know what he thinks about the Fort Hood situation. Mr. Nader, author of the brand new book, Only the Super Rich Can Save Us, all bookstores across the country, joins us now from Washington. So we're going to give you the last 2 minutes of the interview to plug your book, and it's a good book. I like your concept. But I want to talk about the Fort Hood massacre, because that's what we've been doing for the first 2 segments here. Now, in your opinion, is it an act of terrorism?
It's a massacre. What more do you want? It's the strongest word.
Massacres can come from a variety of different people. They can come from terrorists, or they can come from criminals. The Purple, what was that, Murder Incorporated, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, those are criminals. Is this a terrorist act, or is this just criminal?
I'm not clairvoyant like you are. It's a premeditated massacre. We'll leave the Army courts to decide any elaborations when he's tried.
Okay,
if he
so you don't want to say it was a terrorist act, and a lot of people feel the same way you do. President Obama, I just convinced Sally Quinn to change her mind, but it took every ounce of energy I had. Why?
Is it a Bill?
Go ahead.
Bill, look, I wasn't brought on this program to discuss Fort Hood. I was brought on to discuss my new work of fiction, how to change things fundamentally in this country, top down, bottom up, with well-enlightened, real rich people in fictional roles. Now, if you want to talk about terror, there's all kinds of terror around the world. And I'm worried about the preventable death of hundreds of thousands of Americans in this country due to hospital infections, due to occupational disease for blue-collar workers, due to air pollution and other toxic chemicals, due to the lack of neonatal care, due to the lack of health insurance for tens of thousands of Americans who die every year because they can't afford health insurance to treat their diseases.
So if you had been elected,
let's give these Americans some of our compassion.
So if you were elected president and you were confronted with a Fort Hood massacre by a Muslim army major, you would say, you know, I'm not real interested in that. I want to solve all of these other social problems, but I'm really interested in the terror aspect and the jihadists and things like that. Is that what you're going to tell the American people?
Is
that what you're going to tell them?
Bill, unlike you, I can chew gum and walk at the same time.
All right, chew gum on a terror handle. How would you solve it?
The Army knows how to enforce the laws against massacres. You can rely on that.
I can. Well, there are 13 people who didn't rely on it, and they're in the ground. The Army booted it. They had information, or so the FBI says, that this guy was a terrorist, and they didn't do anything about it. Look, Ralph, here's what I'm trying to get at. You're a smart guy, and you ran for president 3 times. And I'm trying to get American leadership here to step up and to tell the people what the danger is. You're right. There's a lot of things in our society that need to be healed, and we need to do better. And you write about them very well. But you dodge the jihad and the Iranian situation and all of these other very dangerous things. You, Ralph Nader, dodge it. Why?
You know, Bill, I remember you admitted you were wrong about the reasons which were false for going to war in Iraq, which taken thousands of American lives, hundreds of thousands of American injuries and disease, and 1 million Iraqi lives. So show a little perspective here about who's been right and who's wrong. We opposed that criminal war in Iraq from the get-go, months before the drums started being by
dodging
George
again,
Bush
but you're right. I was wrong about Iraq, but you're dodging again. Okay, I'll give you the rest of the time. Now look, it's $20 or so to buy your book. Why should people buy it? Why should they spend the money?
They should buy it because if they want to finally gain their sovereignty and put substance back in we the people, as Ron Paul and others want to, they'll want to read how a number of real enlightened Americans, many of them World War II vets, in fictional roles to be sure, like Warren Buffett and Joe Jamail and Ted Turner and William Gates Sr. and others, get together in 2006 and say we're going to put a lot of our money to support working people in this country, mobilize communities, neighborhoods, put this laser beam on the political shenanigans in Washington, and take on the corporate power structure in a titanic power struggle.
All right, so you want the wealthiest Americans to take on the Washington establishment, and that's what you write about in the book.
Yeah, the retired super rich who have some significance to their work now and have some wisdom, taking on the entrenched speculators and crooks in Wall Street and their political allies.
All right. And Ralph, you know I don't like the speculators, man. You know I don't like it.
Leslie Stahl called it engrossing, creative, and funny.
Then you got it. If Leslie Stahl called it that, how can you not read it? Ralph Nader, everybody. Plenty more ahead.